These are my Scarlett poems, and that they were written for my friend Scarlett in America. This is called The Soul Goes for a Stroll. My uncle sleeps with pursed lips, as if kissed by a dream. Perched upon this kiss a butterfly sits, as if an uncle's lips were the most natural place for a butterfly to rest, or as if it were an illustration of the soul, a symbol in a magical book that explains such things. Outside, the trees breathe gently, inhaling and exhaling a soft whisper of wind. Bees carve a map out of the air for other bees to see. Out on a limb, two birds sit and chit-chat. A fox, unseen, passes by as if it had never been. A big bug topples off the top of a tiny stone onto its back, wriggling its arms and legs as if it were trying to swim through the currents of its fear. One of the gossiping birds sees him as a tasty treat, eats him. Inside the house's El Greco shadows, a kitten exploring the newness of the world it finds itself in, jumps onto the sleeping statue of an uncle with a butterfly perched upon its lips. Kitten tumbles oops into my uncle's crotch before climbing the mountainside that is his chest. Takes a swipe at the soul, pretending to be a butterfly, just as my uncle awakens to this reality, and his soul flits just out of reach between the fireplace and the mantelpiece. Now this is about my little girl Tilly when she was acquiring language. It's called The Smell of Purple. She says she can smell yellow. She says she can smell blue, despite not being able to spell either colour. Yellow smells the same as blue, like a wet kitty drying by the fire. Red smells like mummy when she kisses. Her kisses smell different when she kisses you. Then she smells like flames with orange tips. Purple is my favourite smell. It smells just like a magic spell. I kiss her goodnight, like violets, only lighter, with little flecks of purple scattered here and there. Yay. This is called The Rest of the Story. The dried up lake contrived to look both surprised and embarrassed, like a lady in a bad dream wearing no clothes while singing in church or doing the supermarket shop. When I say lake, I mean the body of water that lived up in the old quarry. It always gave us kids nightmares. Our parents always warned us not to go there, but go there we always did because it was dangerous, and that was its attraction. Danger barely tamed and still feral. It would give us the creeps just looking at it in sunlight. The police tape looked real pretty, fluttering in the slight breeze, like an art installation that everyone who was summoned deemed important without knowing its meaning, or if it had one. But hey, what do I know? The lake wore its dead body like a cheap glass ring, pretending it was diamond. When I say dead body, I mean skeleton. The skeleton wore concrete shoes as if it had stepped straight from a corny gangster movie riddled with cliches. It just grinned at the police, flashed photography as if it were a celebrity famous for being a celebrity. It still wore a heavy gold crucifix on a thick chain around its neck that shone in the sun. Shone in the sun. The sun smiled down as if it were smiling down on a picnic or an ordinary walk in the park, as if it were innocent of the things it's seen. Hey, I'm summer, being summer, it seemed to say. Dead guy, eh? What a bummer. The dead guy was alive in his death, as if he were soaking up being the centre of attention. And yeah, sure, it was just another ordinary summer when I was 9 or 10 or something like that. But this is just the beginning of the story. The rest of the story was somewhere else. Hey. This is called Unseen Waters. That summer that held him as a child, he watched in wonder as the river ran, tumbling blindly, wildly over stones, in such a hurry to be nothing but the essence of itself, in which he dared to plunge his hand, feel its riverness, pity its petty humanness, flowing from a time so long ago the mind could not imagine, fleeing to a time that only the future could see, and now in this summer that sees the child a man, he runs along the riverbed, its waters gone now, its stones now breathing air, imagining the water that used to be. He runs as if he were the water of his childhood, plunging through time, running now wildly and blindly towards some great unknown future that he cannot see, carried along by unseen waters.